Hello, guys, and welcome to this Capcom podcast. I am Seth, and with me today are.
Anthony.
And Jack.
So, yeah, this beginning is a bit of a weird one because Cameron is running late because he's currently on a travel mission.
Yes.
And yeah, we had a little fun getting this started, but now we're here, and goddamn, the backlight is heavy. Um, this is better. And yeah. Today's episode is going to be a lot of fun. We, of course, have a movie and we also have a little ranking. And before we start with that, so yeah, Jack, do you want to introduce yourself? Why are you here today?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a friend of Cam's. We always talk about movies and film when he comes down to across the pond to America from Germany, and we went and saw a movie the other day when he was here, and he asked me to be on the pod. So I said, screw it. I've never been on a pod before or done anything like this, but I'm excited and have some thoughts about the film. So ready to get into it when you guys are.
Definitely. Just to have a little recapitulation, Anthony, how was your past 2 weeks, or technically even longer, since I believe you weren't on the last episode?
Yeah, I've been on the road for about 2 months now, and I'm glad I have a little break. I'm going back on next weekend, but it's been fun, but just exhausting. I have not. This is the first time I had, I think, like 8 hours of sleep, which I'm very, very thankful for. My body feels amazing. I'm just excited to be back because like I've been listening like on planes or like on buses or like wherever I am, just like trying to listen into the pod. I'm like, I wish I was on right now, but I'm at work putting out fires and doing other stuff.
Yeah, me too. I had a lot of preparation to do the last days. I have starting tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Convention that we are taking part of from my work, and it's like basically getting investors to invest in new projects and developments, and it's basically all appointments, so they know that they're going to speak with people. But so you got to keep them happy and give them food and drinks and whatever. And we had to bring all the gear to the expo. And the people were still building the booth, basically, like nothing was set up already. So we just had to put it in some corner to be like, yeah, we put it in the back office, but there is nothing there. So yeah, like we have like a lot of shelving and fridges and whatever, and there's gonna be a bartender and a barista making coffee and whatever, and nothing was set up. It was supposed to be ready by like 12, and we were there at like 2, and nothing was done. So yeah, a lot of rearranging stuff tomorrow morning, and that's gonna be great. And to make that better, a friend of mine, Ilona, who was here on another episode with Cameron together as a little alternative because none of us could make it. They did a burger pop-up with truffle butter burgers. So it's called the Butter Burger, and it's basically a burger, like a smashed burger, but it's just like a patty, onions, and butter, and they did that with truffles. So I made my colleague have us this for lunch time and basically had fun during work hours, and that was great. I'm just saying this because I had something bougie for lunch, and Jack also came prepared because he's the first person who takes this as a serious enjoyment, bringing wine to the podcast.
That's smart.
Yes.
I'm going to steal this from you, Zach.
Yeah, talking about movies. Yeah, and talking about movies we enjoy or don't enjoy. Our movie of the week is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and also generally movie nerds. And I think the movie was my choice. And I remember watching that movie when it came out, and I liked it a lot because I feel like for the time, it's pretty much a piece of the time, a lot of pop culture references and video game references. And if you are a game nerd, you appreciate the movie. And yeah, I just thought like if we're talking nerd movies, that just fits the bill. And yeah, generally, without getting into any spoilers, what was your opinion of the movie? Maybe Anthony, I don't know if you want to start.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, especially from like an editing perspective, right? Like the way the quick little like, how do I describe it? Like little like emotes, not emotes, but like the animation style and like different like effects they used for each like for the combat scenes or just transitions and stuff like that. That's something that I love, especially as an editor. Like it adds that like environment, that little touch, especially to the video game theme. Especially like during the first fight when it's like, ooh, coins, and he just picks up, he's like, it's only 240, it's not enough for the bus. That was a little spoiler, but it was in the first act, so I'm not gonna count it as too much of a spoiler. But
not story-wise, at least.
I thought the pacing to this movie was like on point. Like there's never like a dull moment. It's like this movie brings up a lot of emotions. Like Inside Out 2, now you can't compare these two movies, but like that movie brings up a lot of emotions when I watch it. This one also, just because of like how the two main characters act and behave during the whole movie.
That's true. And also I feel like I actually don't know the budget for the movie, but I feel like for the way that the movie is made, which is pretty simplistic, I feel like it's been kind of ahead of its time because the way everything is done with the effects and everything. If you take other movies like the Pixel movie, or is it called Emoticon? I don't know, or Emoji movie or whatever. Like you have a lot of these weird graphics and whatever taken from digital pop culture, like the level ups and whatever, that and the coins that are kind of like later done in bigger movies. And I mean, the movie has a lot of big names that I don't know if they were the big at the time than they are now. I mean, like Chris Evans.
This was pre-Captain America, Chris Evans, but post.
Was it post Fantastic Four?
Post Johnny Storm, pre-Captain America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you have
and
Brie
the budget
Larson.
Was $85 million.
That's
$85 million.
Oh, okay.
It was actually a box office bust. Only made $10 million in its opening weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't make that much money. Like it's
not. Now it's a cult classic now, and it has a following, and
it's a cult classic and a fan favorite. But I mean, you have to also see that. I mean, it's based on a graphic novel, so there was something before that. So it's not like born out of nothing and it flopped. So like they basically adapted something that was already known. And I mean, because it's based on a graphic novel that is based on nerd culture, it's not really made for the mainstream, I guess. Yeah. Oh my God, it's a bunch of pixels. Oh no, wait, is it a Cameron? I guess I see a Cameron.
Is it that bad?
It's not that bad.
You got some trust behind it, buddy.
You just have your latency is just as great as the German train system is.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And the less you move, the more stable you are.
It's better than New Jersey Transit.
Are we already done with talking about Scott Pilgrim?
No, we just got into it.
Haven't even gotten to my point.
Yeah.
We have the wrong banner in the chat.
No, that is totally the wrong banner, but we didn't do that.
Cool.
That just appeared.
Real quick.
Yeah, we go.
Did Monsieur Jack introduce himself? Did we have that already?
I did introduce myself. I haven't quite gotten to my thoughts on the film yet, but I did break it down into a good, bad, and an ugly. Shout out Sergio.
Man, he's just ready to go. I'm impressed. He's more prepared than any of us are. So
let's start with the good. It was like a fun, original story. Like you said, it is an adaptation of a graphic novel, so original, but it was original in that sense where you haven't really seen anything like it. The ensemble cast was great, like we talked on. Chris Evans, Anna Kendrick,
Aubrey Plaza,
Kieran Culkin,
Aubrey Plaza, the sorry that I don't remember the name. It was something Winslet.
Haven't
Ewan McGregor's wife, and I hate doing that to her, but yeah. What she's part of the bad.
Listen, let me get there. And then the other thing that's good.
She's the main female character.
Well, Aubrey Plaza was good. Andrew Kendrick was fine.
I mean Mary Elizabeth Winslet was the main female character.
Her acting a little stiff. And I feel that way in pretty much everything she's in.
Who's this,
you don't
Aubrey
get a lot
Plaza?
of emotion out of her. So yeah, the good is the ensemble cast, and the visual effects are fantastic in the movie. They the way that they combine this video game, comic book, real life, kind of smash it all together. That's great. Now the bad. are the leads, Michael Cera and your friend Mary Elizabeth. They're so stiff. You don't really get a lot of emotion out of them. It's just so dry, and it just didn't feel like it felt the tone of the film because it's so whimsical and fun, and they're just so I don't know.
Do you think it's
and the script? I mean, the way that the film is written, there's 7 fights, right? The film's less than 2 hours. So you're telling me in less than 2 hours, we got to fit 7 fight scenes and then also have time in between for character development? It just felt that there was almost too many fights. I wish there was a couple of fights.
I would agree in that I think if this were made today, it'd be a miniseries and not a standalone movie. But if we think about the time when this was made, there was no real miniseries like culture like there is today.
It wasn't a thing like that, yeah.
It would have been a great like 7 or 8 part like Netflix miniseries. I feel like to give it some more breadth and some more life.
Yeah, and then the characters could develop a little bit more. You didn't have a lot of character development because it was just fight scene, 5 minutes, fight scene, 5 minutes.
True.
So the script, the leads, and then now let's get to the ugly. The premise of the film is that a 23-year-old is dating a 17-year-old on rebound from his pop star girlfriend. I mean, I don't know. So that's
we didn't put the spoilers on yet, but it's literally it's literally the first thing that is said in the movie. It's like you start the movie and that's what you see.
So I mean that's my good, movie, bad, and ugly.
But I feel like the movie
is bad ugly. It is a very bad ugly.
I gotta agree. So basically, I mean, as we said before,
very true. Which I still need to see.
Yes,
but that's a different
Scribbles, totally correct.
Scribbles, absolutely amazing human being.
The movie is based on a graphic novel that is basically paper based. So, and then they made the movie, and I don't know actually if they made the animations generally before or after the movie basically got traction. But according to the movie, I feel like the movie kind of like, because he starts out with him being problematic. Am I sounding weird? Because I can hear myself kind of. I don't know.
No, you're sounding good. You're sounding absolutely perfect.
You want to interrupt you.
Great. So basically, the movie to me kind of is like, he starts out as the bad person with that bad premise that says that, because like I think we can all agree that that is a problematic thing. It was back then, it is even more now, and I feel like making a movie like that today would be a media stunt more than it is a problematic statement. But like and I feel like basing it on like he has to get over his old girlfriend and he tries to now get a new one to get out of that situation because he kind of realizes that it's a bad situation that he's in. But that's kind of like the whole movie is a redemption arc. It's also a challenge to get someone who he in the end like kind of gets, but like also like for a moment thinks of like, yeah, I did this all and now I throw it away for the old one. And it's like everything about this is weird because like he's juggling 2 people at the same time emotionally, which is never a good thing. And there's the age difference, and there's the basically I killed off all your boyfriends to in the end doubt if I actually want you. So basically I just played you, and you also like were manipulated by even other people. So it's like very weird all the time. And so basically in the end it's still all about him and not about the other people.
Yeah, he's very selfish.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, in every way in the beginning, when he is with knives, he is narcissistic as hell when they walk along the street to the band practice or whatever. It's like, yeah, but she's so cool, like his ex-girlfriend, like she's so cool and she's so talented, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you know, I also can do this and that. Oh my God, you can. And whatever. And it's like, it's everything about him is problematic. And I feel like doing a character like this today would be more of a parody than it is an actual movie plot. And but when it comes to the graphic novels and everything, I just feel like having the base, you could have actually made it in a miniseries or like an online like short form thing with like 7-minute episodes telling basically a glimpse out of the whole thing instead of making it a one-time story, because I feel like it doesn't live well in a one-time story. You could have made it like a 10-episode anime series, like some filler episodes for development, and then at least one for each ex of
Battle,
the girl
100%.
and something
Yeah.
like that.
So
And,
like
I mean,
what
like-
Netflix did,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then like at least 3 episodes long ending boss fight that rates always at the most exciting points, like Dragon Ball when it's not cut down.
Yeah, plus we get 3 episodes of Jason Schwartzman, which is really what everybody wants. Let's be honest.
That's true. He is a highlight of this movie. He acted
He's
so
Definitely.
up there. I do like Kieran Culkin's character too, the gay
Yes.
roommate. He's funny.
Now,
Definitely that as
Oscar-winning
well.
actor Kieran Culkin. Don't forget that.
Put some respect on that man's name.
Put some respect on that man's name.
Cheers to that.
I mean, my thing is like, why did Knives have to be 17? She could have been 18. It would have still given me the same effect.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind
You
of
know what
like
I mean?
because it's not ethically it's still ethically wrong, but it's not lawfully wrong.
Yeah,
Is it
but even
lawfully
but
wrong?
even
I
in
don't know.
Canada.
but
They're in
even
Canada.
but even
They're in Toronto.
18.
Oh yeah,
and
okay,
a-
fair.
But even 18, a senior in high school would still ethically be at least more dubious than not, and it would have given me a little less pause. You know what I mean?
It sounds better than a 17-year-old Asian chick in a
Yeah.
Catholic schoolgirl uniform.
Oh my god, welcome to Cameron's mother. That is so nice to hear from you.
Welcome to Cameron's mother. That's a way of saying it.
Cameron's mother
I-
and my wife have the same name. Fun fact.
That is true. That is very true. That being said, Anthony, have you gone yet? Have you given your thoughts
Yeah.
on the movie? Okay, so I'm the only one that's left, technically.
Sure.
I enjoyed it. I feel like when I went to give my review on Letterboxd, there was a bunch of like 4 and 5 stars, and then there was Jack's like 2.5, which I've now spoiled to rate that movie. But like, I'm like, well, I feel it does neither of these things. So here we are. I agree. I think visually it's so interesting and so like special and how it just makes itself. My biggest concern is just like the mythical conundrum. I also feel like I don't know. Michael Cera, I think, does feel flat, but I think that's the character. I don't know. I mean, but his acting is also always been like very monotone in his like delivery. If I think about other roles that he's done, like even Superbad, like I feel like he just plays the same character over and over and over and over again.
Oh, big time.
Same as Rob.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It works more in
So-
Superbad than it does in this film, though.
fair. Which then we have the whole Joaquin Phoenix argument of we need to have the right actor for the right movie type of thing. But I really liked it. I did enjoy it. I had a fun time last night at midnight watching this movie after getting too little sleep the night before. 'Cause I
Cameron,
wasn't
question. Where,
unsure if I was coming
where
today.
Cameron, question. Where did you watch the movie?
No, on Max.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Cool.
VPN my way into the US.
Because I looked online because I have that movie on DVD, and it's pretty
Lovely.
hard to find that movie online and on most streaming services unless you pay for it. At
I don't
least
think
in
it's on any
Germany.
streaming service. I don't think there's any SVOD service in Germany. I was looking at it,
Yeah,
it's like,
and
nope.
then I found, and I hope I don't. I mean, we don't have the reach to get anyone in trouble, not yet. I found a person on Reddit asking for it in German as well, and then someone put in a link. And basically, this movie has such a fandom that some person basically created a Google Drive solely based on everything Scott Pilgrim. The graphic novels, anything animated, the movie, BTS material, the soundtrack, torrents for games.
I want to see that
anything-
BTS material. I want to see that.
It's fun. I looked at everything that they had.
Yeah, that would be
And
good.
basically, it's a Google Drive link with everything. And so basically, if I just went back and looked at all the lore and was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. But again, I've seen it when it came out and loved it. But like, if it was done today, I feel like I would react a lot different to it. It's because I know it, and even though, because I think I've seen it last before 2020 or something, like it's been 5 years. So with all that time since the last time I saw it, like I feel different about that movie now. And I feel like if that came out today, it would feel very different. So it's kind of like also a timepiece of that time and of like how nerd culture was at the time. It was slightly problematic. It was slightly awkward, and it wasn't spoken about like it is today. So I feel like it pretty much captures the spirit that kind of like it was so obvious, and it is obvious, but like today we speak up when we see something like that, and back then it was like, yeah, he's that goofy guy who dates a 17-year-old, and yeah, but then again he has that other girl, so like he's kind of a player, he's kind of a narcissist, but like he's not too serious about it, so it's not that problematic because he's not taking it seriously, so why should we take it seriously?
Yeah, they
Although his
suspend
friends take it seriously.
any
Very
semblance of
seriously.
reality in this movie.
They make jokes about it, but they don't really care. They are more disturbed by her presence than they are like concerned for her or anything. They're more inconvenient. They are
That's
more
true.
inconvenienced. They are more inconvenienced and annoyed than they are concerned.
Well,
And
his
that's,
other friend,
I feel like,
Ezra,
what
tried
the
to date
world
her as
was
well.
in the past.
True.
Let's not
That's
forget that
true.
his friend tries to date her as well.
Yeah, but that guy is
yeah.
younger because in the beginning he's young
he's
Neil
20.
or
I think
young
he's
Nick or
20.
whatever.
I think he's 20.
Yeah.
So
But
that's the
17
difference.
and
Doesn't
20
make it
is
any
better
better
than
either,
17
though.
and 23.
It's better. It's not great, but it's better.
It's still iffy.
I mean,
It's
I've
still
had this
very iffy.
discussion recently, like what's the age range that you could date? And you know, I think there is a difference between like after graduating high school and like
Oh, definitely.
then the rest, and then like the gap kind of grows. I do understand that.
I forgot if that rule was from How I Met Your Mother or if it's a general thing I read somewhere
Half
online.
plus 7.
But wasn't there? Yeah, isn't it half your age
Oh,
plus 7 or something?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forget
Half your
exactly
age.
what the formula was.
Plus, yeah.
It's half
There's a lot
plus
of formulas
7,
with How I Met Your Mother.
which would be for Michael or for Scott Pilgrim, that would be 14.
Which
Plus,
I wouldn't
that'd
agree
be
with
21,
at all,
which
actually. Yeah.
you wouldn't.
I don't agree with that formula, at least from my personal way of making that decision. Because, like, because I mean, I'm turning 28 this year. So that would be
Right.
14 plus 7 would be 21. And I feel like a 7-year age difference at that age is kind of a difference because nearly 30 and early 20s can be very different stages in life.
Can be, but there are
Yeah,
some
it can
mature
be.
21-year-olds.
That feels okay though.
Yeah.
21 to 28. And is there a gap? Sure, but like I'm okay with that. That's fine.
But that's like someone, and I'm not talking about the American way, but like about the more German way, but that's like someone maybe starting or in the early parts of their bachelor's in college and someone 10 years into their working life. So
In fact, Scott Pilgrim's 17 is outside of his half plus 7 range. It's 19. So
wait, he's 23, so
he's 23,
That's
so half
18.
age. That'd be 18.
11.5.
Well, 18.5.
Yeah.
18.5. So I
You basically
rounded up to
you round up.
19.
We
No,
Either
make
way,
the
it's
cut.
outside of 17.
You don't make
It
the
doesn't
cut.
17
Definitely.
doesn't make the cut. What
But
is
if
your,
we
I
talk
gotta
about
ask,
young,
you go ahead.
if we talk about young Neil, he was 20, so that's 10%. He's actually fine,
He's fine.
technically.
That was
Again,
fine.
we're just
fine.
talking by some weird internet rule. We're not talking ethically.
No, it's not a morality
As
contest.
far as How I Met Your Mother rules, yes. Not morality.
Right.
Okay,
Now,
Cameron, please switch the topic. This is getting weird.
what is your which X is your favorite? Like fight wise, like fight scene wise, which one's your favorite?
For me,
Easy choice.
I'm a Chris Evans stan, so I liked the Chris Evans part. And spoiler alert, although not really, this after he defeats Chris Evans, Michael Cera.
Well, we're already
in, like,
passing
the next
spoilers,
scene.
so there's no spoiler alert needed.
Okay, so Michael Cera is wearing a fantastic
Yeah, the spoiler
Four
banner is up,
shirt.
so yeah.
He's wearing a Fantastic Four shirt in like the scene after he beats
Love that.
Chris Evans, and it's like a fun little
Love that.
Easter egg. That's because like he was coming right off of Fantastic Four, so Michael Cera beats him, and then in like the next scene, he's wearing a Fantastic Four shirt. So that was my favorite one.
Yeah, I'd say I feel like I'll start off the most disappointing one, which are the twins at the concert.
Really?
They try to.
Really,
the thing
that's
is,
the most disappointing one.
yeah, is it the skater for you? I feel like because that is the other one that's most disappointing.
Chris Evans is the skater one.
Chris
Oh.
Evans is scared. Honestly, I feel the boss battle could have been better. I feel like
but the thing is, the boss battle has the boss battle is weird, but then again, the boss battle also has the 2 boss battles because it has the reload.
It's
I
2,
guess, yeah.
Which is another thing
But
about
yeah.
the film. There's no real like stakes involved, because if you die, you just get a free life, which kind of like nothing really matters. But that's my own thing.
Yeah, and that's what I would say. And that's what I would say. As Scribble says, the twin fight was my favorite. It looked really cool. That's true, Scribbles, because I feel like they put the most attention to it with like the 2 different avatars battling through the sound, and that like the way they made it look and like animation wise, that was cool. But these 2 exes had the least character because they set them next to nothing, and the others like made themselves look douchey, and these 2 just played the show, and then they battled in the band contest thing. And for me, the best X when it comes to performance and whatever is the girl, because they're just done, and he's like, yeah, I'm so done, I don't want another fight. He walks into the club after party thing, you see the number over the door, and you're like, okay, so number 4, huh? And then basically he's like, yeah, all these guys, and she's just like, exes. And then the guys, exes. And it's like, so like hinting at it all the time, and he's just so oblivious. Hi to the guy in Cameron's background. And
we will have a few of those.
Yeah, shout out Egg. I don't know the actress's name, but she's Egg from Arrested Development.
Ooh, cool. And yeah, basically, so I just feel like he's also like, so you did that? That's so weird. Like, he's shaming her for that, which is also something that wouldn't run well in a movie today. So like, I feel like that's the best like plot turn or surprise in the movie, because like everyone kind of could have gotten it by just listening, but he was so oblivious to it because he was like so narcissistic, believing in himself that wasn't even an option. And I kind of like that. So yeah, that's my personal favorite. Also because she kicks his ass. And in the end, it's basically mostly the girls battling each other.
I do love the first one only because the line, "Did you not read my email?" made me audibly snort. Waking up with all of my people I was in the Airbnb with, and them all being pissed off at me. Because I saw the email, like, oh, this is going to mean something in like 20 seconds. And then it was something. And then I was like, well, here we are. I started laughing, and everyone was going, and I was just like, this is such a great scene. It was so funny. And the fact that Knives like out the whole time, so she has no idea what's going on, and the fact that she's so oblivious to the whole like flirting that's going on in front of her, it's just like, well, here we are. But yeah, Knives deserve better, 100%.
Knives
is my takeaway.
Fun fact about Knives: in the original ending, Knives, he got together with Knives, and like a month before they put the movie out, they changed the ending.
Yeah, true.
Really? Well, how is it in the original comics?
I don't know. I didn't read the comics.
I read through the stuff. I didn't read everything, and I actually forgot. But I also know the fact that they changed that. That's why the ending also is a bit like, it's like he stays back and then he goes to with her and blah blah blah. So they actually, I feel like they weren't sure, and then in the end they made it like a guessing thing where in the end he went with her and everything. So to start off new. Which is also kind of weird. Like he fights for her, then he's like, but I like that young girl. And then he's like, but no, I really should start off new somewhere else. Because like, it's like, I left a lot of burnt ground here. Like I should start off new with the woman who also needs to start off new. And that's kind of like very weird.
But Knives and Scott both have 180s after that fight. That make no sense. Because Knives at the end is like, go to her. And I'm like, this is not what you'll be fighting for this whole entire film. Why would you be fighting this?
Because they changed the ending at the end. That's why.
Yeah, I understand what they did, but like
that's why it doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, you understand what they did, but you don't understand what they did.
Anthony, do you have anything to add? Because you haven't even given your favorite boss fight yet. So
Oh, yes.
honestly am gonna go with the third one with the guitarist, just because
fair.
I was a big fan.
Isn't that a
of, like,
bassist? Isn't he a bassist?
bassist,
Well,
guitarist.
Scott's the bassist. The other guy's a
Yeah,
guitarist.
yeah.
Tony.
He's just guitarist. I just
Oh, he's a
really like the
guitarist?
animation style for that one. Like just
I thought it's a bass battle.
Is it?
also it's guitar against guitar. Well, not guitar against guitar, but like
Sarah definitely
The
plays
bass is not a guitar. Either guitarists will say that's not the same thing, and I feel like bassists will not say it's not the same thing.
it's they're very similar. I mean, they're not
It's
exactly
a four. It's a 4-string guitar. Let's
yeah,
see.
like
Isn't that a
Very-
bass?
It's just the
Isn't
four.
the bass
It's just
the
the four
4-string?
low notes.
But
It's just the
that's
four
a bass.
low notes.
What? Okay.
It's definitely
You
bass.
miss out on the high E and that what? E A D G B. Yeah, you miss out on the B and the high E.
That's true.
So it's
Still,
a guitar with 4 strings.
Seb, the
It's a-
actual bass player in this group, not having any comment while the other two people are commenting on what a bass is.
One
This
is a
is
rhythm
peak-
instrument.
this is-
One is a rhythm
this is
instrument.
peak
The
Capcom
other
podcast
isn't.
material right here.
My thing about bass
This is
though,
real.
it's rhythm, but it can, take off and get out of the pocket. But anyway, let's not get into a music discussion.
You know
Not
what
why
the
we're here.
issue
Why
is?
not? It's our
A guitar
podcast.
player-
We do what we want.
A guitar player can pick up a bass guitar and play something on it. Most bass players can't play a guitar solo.
Yeah, checks out.
Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Seb.
I said. Yeah, what are you guys? I don't know. Anthony, do you want to bring anything up about the movie? Otherwise, I'd go to my favorite part of the episode.
go to
Please.
your favorite part of the episode.
So you guys know what time it is. Maybe Jack doesn't, but
I
it's
have no
time
idea.
to rate that movie. And I really wouldn't have
Movie.
said anything. Perfect. On time, on point as always. The only time we've ever been on point was last week's episode when I was
By
alone
yourself. Yeah.
by myself.
And that even wasn't on time.
And it was late.
And it was
At least
anyway,
not in the editing clip I saw. It wasn't.
Thank you, Scribbles. Thank you.
That was
Thank
also not on time.
No, but you know what?
You can blame the
They have an
Wilson for that.
excuse because
Yeah.
they get the stream a little bit later than we do, so they get to
Exactly.
be when they
Fair.
want to.
Very fair.
I'm going to give it to Jack. Jack, rate that movie.
Are we going out of 5? We're going out of 10? We're doing decimals? Talk.
We're doing whatever you want to. You can take this as seriously or as not as
All
you would
right,
like.
so I'll
It
go
is
out of
all up to
You
five.
can give it 16ths if you cared.
Give it a 17.
I feel like Seb's going to give it out of 7.
No. So I'm gonna give it out of 5. I originally gave it a 2.5 when I watched it the other day, just because of the shock and awe of the premise of the film. But after kind of thinking about it for the pod and stuff, I mean, the way that they do the whole like transmedia storytelling and combined the video game and the comic books and real life and like Ant mentioned earlier, it's like when it's this comic book fight, and then when the guy dies, it just turns into real life coins. There's a lot of really cool stuff. So I'm gonna bump it up to 3.5.
Ooh.
Out of 5?
Comes in at a soft 70.
And I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So Jack, I think
We're
hit
right there.
the nail
We're right there.
on the head. I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? It is a very good movie. I think there are some stuff that's problematic. There's always a question, right? Do you put that stuff in as part of your rating or not, right? And I try not to. Of course, now while I'm talking, the train is leaving. So here we are. In front of me, of course. But I truly think that I try not to. I try to look at it from a pure artistic level. And I thought it's a very well-made movie. I think there's some story bits that don't make sense and some stuff that's a little weak. 7 out of 10, I think, fine, is super, super valid.
I'm gonna give this a 7.2555555 out of 10.
Repeating.
Yeah. And you
Why
can't round down.
repeating?
Because why not?
Okay, fair enough.
7.25 period? Okay.
5.
You can't round it up though.
Yeah, you put a line
Nope.
over
Keep
the
the line
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah,
Uh,
line over it. No rounding.
Scribbles is my king. Okay. Or queen. Or just monarch. We'll go with just monarch.
Yeah. I also rate that movie. Kids, please don't do this at home. 7 out of 10. Nice. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, 7 out of 10 is fair. I feel like if
So we're pretty unified on the scores there,
the
fellas.
big knife
Which
is
is
at the
like-
other end of
which almost
the big
never
knife is at the
happens.
That's crazy.
the big knife is at the other end of the room, so I had to deal with
Is this
that
one
because
the
that
big
wasn't
knife?
reach. Do you
Seb is
want
a
me to
cook.
bring
He
the
has
big
all
knife?
the
No, I
knives.
don't want to see the
I
big knife. I'm
mean,
okay.
you
Seb has
can't
all the
mention a
knives.
big knife and then not bring it in the room.
Is it a lightsaber?
Dude.
I like lightsabers.
Oh,
No,
I have
it's a
lightsabers.
cooking.
Hold on.
It's
Yeah, bring lightsaber out.
So this is
No,
Darth Vader.
cooking knife.
This is gonna be Obi
Pays for
Wan.
reference.
This is
This is
Rey's
Seb.
lightsaber.
Seb is a chef. Why are you surprised? I mean, what are we looking at? The fact that Jack
I'm looking at the
bought
lightsabers
all.
right now. I'm not surprised.
Jack,
that
did you
Seb
buy
has-
all these in Disney World?
Why are you talking to me like I'm an asshole? Of course I got them at Disney World.
Did you all build them yourself in the cave?
No, he did not. I don't even want to know what the
I
final.
get the replicas.
I don't even know. I don't. I think I have a number in minutes how much about all of these costs, because like they're usually between 150
Hi.
and 250 a piece.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
But yeah, finishing up my
Maybe
thing.
one day we can do a Star Wars review for me because it's kind of my thing.
We'll get it. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah, but finishing up my rating, I would have given it, I guess, like more like a 6 to 5.5 out of 10 if the movie came out today, because I feel like if it was done today, and I'm not saying it aged badly, because I feel like it's still a good movie generally. It just shows off some problems that society had back then and still has in subcultures. But I feel like it's a good portrayal of a subculture, and generally, I also feel like the way the animation is done is also aged nicely. I mean, it's not an old movie as like compared to like Lord of the Rings or whatever, but like I feel like the animations could look similar if a movie like that would have been done today. And yeah, therefore, I think a 7.10 for the general thing, but I feel like it would be more like a 6 if it was done today.
2.5.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. No, 6.5 would not be 2.5.
Oh no, I gave it a 2.5 because I watched it
I
for
know
the
you
first
did.
time last week, and it was very much a 2.5.
Very
But
nice.
I'll give it a 3.5 in general, but more like a 2.7 if it was done today.
I'll take it.
Let's do it that way.
I like it. I like it.
When got voted Oscar track stories. So let's. Huh?
Oh boy.
Alice in Wonderland as the one with Johnny Depp.
I assume. I believe that's the same year. That makes sense.
Did Tron Legacy win that, or
I
did
have no
Inception
idea.
get it?
Is it still full? Is this the same year?
Also, I was going to say this is a hard lineup for a year. Alice in Wonderland, Harry Potter. I
Yeah, it was
don't
top
know what
seven.
I don't actually know what Hereafter is. I know all movies beside that. Because I feel like Tron Legacy was a big
Tron?
movie back when
That
it
was
came out.
good. That was really good.
Tron was good. The soundtrack to Tron, the score is the best part. If you
Yeah, I mean it's Daft
absolutely.
Punk, so
I mean,
it's
you could
Which
argue that
on,
I'm
with that.
come on, you
surprised
can't
that
beat
it
it.
didn't get
Can't beat
nominated
it.
for best screenplay or for best editing. I'm actually surprised. Although I don't know what year these Oscars were, so that could be.
The screenplay was not good in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. In your opinion, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, there's no time for character development. It's not a well-written movie. Like you said, it would work better as a miniseries. Trying to fit
That's
7
fair.
fight
Didn't
scenes
see
that
the
are
Which is
comment
the
long
same
enough.
issue, by the way. Which is the same issue that I have with the new Snow White film as well, by the way. Which I
Yeah,
know
that
is
film's not as bad as people say it is, but it could have been
I
better as well.
don't disagree with you, but I feel like it's too short. It's a musical that was adapted into a movie without being adapted. It's
Yeah,
basically
because
taken
there's
as
too many songs for its runtime. Every 5 minutes, there's a new song, so there's again no time for development there as
Gotcha.
well.
I don't know what the comment was and who it was by, but there was one comment saying Hereafter stole Scott Pilgrim. I don't know what
So
is meant by that. Like,
EDM, if you remember, EDM was the guy, was the person that was during our Oscar episode, commented on those
Yeah.
like scenarios. which I
Yeah, but
asked
I just
this
don't know
person
what
Yeah,
is meant by that. They stole the prize from Scott Pilgrim, or
I'm
that's like
assuming that's what it
content wise.
means.
Because
I'm assuming
I didn't see the movie, but it says something about tsunami, so I was like, content wise, I hope they didn't steal plot from Scott Pilgrim, because that would be funny to be then nominated in a thing together in the same year. That would be
Yeah, Scott
wild.
Pilgrim didn't even get nominated. Didn't make the cut.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of good films that year. It was 2010 it came out, Scott Pilgrim, and like it's great, but it's not gonna beat the ones that were nominated.
Yeah, again,
Right.
it's.
How are you going to
I
beat
feel like it's a
Harry
movie
Potter
that
when it's got
isn't.
hundreds
Yeah,
of millions of
yeah.
dollars budget?
I like to quote my favorite American Jersey-born filmmaker, Cameron J.
Timothy.
Spector.
Oh,
Nearly,
never mind. Just
nearly.
kidding. He's my favorite too.
Yeah, I mean, no self noms here.
So
But
King's Speech was the 2011 Oscars. Toy Story 3 got nominated for Best Picture.
Didn't win. Won Best Animated Feature though.
I assume, yeah. But yeah, this is a pretty stocked deck, to be honest.
Cameron,
So you've got movies such as like Inception, Black Swan, King's Speech, Social Network too, Tron Legacy.
Good year for movies.
It's a really good year for movies. Jeez.
Although,
Although,
oh well, best year for movies is 1995. Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, and
yeah,
what's the one that won? Forrest Gump.
that was
In my lifetime, at least.
Seb, I think it's took the VFX spot that they thought were gonna go to. It got because they
should have gone to Skull Pig. I would have VFX. I mean, the visual effects were fantastic.
visual effects were fantastic.
I also think the editing was great. That pacing, the pacing was done very well as far as editing wise. I just don't feel
it's not a dull moment.
Like writing, But anyway, let's talk about nerds. I would consider us film nerds or film geeks, if you will. But let's talk about some nerds. Let's just talk about nerds in movies. Well, you could be a chill guy and be a nerd.
Yeah. I don't know.
So what do we mean? The nerds that are actually in the film?
Yeah, the characters.
Oh, I thought you meant like franchise, like community.
Okay.
I mean, the franchise, if it's the main character, that's a nerd, that as well. But like, no movie nerds, and it's like nerds or nerd culture in movies. Yeah.
I mean, but even like
that's how I understood
all those guys
it.
Are nerds, right? Like Superbad, every single one of those, all the Superbad guys, I believe, are nerds. I haven't seen that movie in a hot second. But,
I mean, I don't know if they're nerds so much as they're unpopular. Like when I think nerd, since I shouted out Kevin Smith earlier, I'll bring it back now. In the movie Mallrats, I don't know if you guys have seen Mallrats.
Of course.
The main character, Brody, he essentially collects comic books, and at the end of the movie, he opens up a comic book shop. And
so
he would
Kevin
probably
Smith.
be my favorite movie nerd is going to be Brody from Mallrats. Also, shout out Stanley, who's in R.I.P. to a good one, who is also in Mallrats. And he was in a bunch of other films, so he may be the biggest movie nerd ever, really, when you think about it. Did all those cameos in the MCU.
That's fair.
He's going to be tough to beat.
He is going to be tough to beat. I don't know. Who would be a true nerd otherwise? As you can see, I did so much thought into movies.
Yeah,
I didn't make notes on it. I had a lot of things in mind, and then I forgot. Do we know of other franchises where actors played in the franchise that were actually giant nerds regarding the franchise? For example, take Henry Cavill. He played Superman, and he also played The Witcher. I mean, that's more like a series than it is a movie. Like, he's a total comic and Warhammer and whatever nerd.
He's a Warhammer guy.
So,
he got the Warhammer film green-lighted.
I have a controversial pick.
Please.
Jason Schwartzman from as Rushmore.
Good. Oh man, that's a good movie.
Rushmore is a nerd at heart.
Yeah, I mean, he goes.
That's my thesis.
Because he's a smart guy. He's a.
But he acts like a nerd too. He also acts like an asshole. But he
big time.
But he's a nerd. Like that's what he's a nerd about all these things, but he is a nerd. And it's cool. And I would say Wes Anderson is my guy. And he is the best nerd.
Wes Anderson is good.
All
right, everybody, favorite Wes Anderson film. What we got? Lay it on me.
Yeah, think about that.
So mine is biased. Mine is Moonrise Kingdom.
Ooh, wouldn't have picked
the
that.
one with the train.
The one with the train.
No,
Darjeeling.
Darjeeling Limited is the one with the train.
Not the one with the tiny train and the alien.
No. The Darjeeling Limited is like Adrian Brody and
Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, Schwartzman.
And the Wilson.
Yeah, Owen Wilson.
Rainn Wilson. This is Moonrise is the love story.
It's
only my favorite because it's the first like true film I remember seeing in a movie theater. Like it's the first like recollection of me going to the movies and it giving me like a true like emotion from that movie.
How old were you?
I was like 11, 12. I'd been to the movies before, 100%. I just don't remember it. And
because I was gonna say it's not that old that you wouldn't have been like 6, 7, 8. Because I feel like the first movie I've seen in the cinemas was with like I don't know how old it was, but it was I think that's a German thing. It's called Lars the Ice Bear, and it's about a tiny white ice bear.
It's a German thing.
Yeah.
I actually did not like Moonrise the first time I watched it because I was a prepubescent little boy who was like, "Ew, kissing. What is this romance?" And then I watched it again like years later.
For
yuck, girls.
Best nerd or best?
Give us both.
I'm gonna do Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
Solid pick.
I'm gonna go way out of left field. Ned from like the Spider-Man, like the new Spider-Man Marvel fan.
Oh, the guy.
He's like the classic nerd. Like he's the nerd. Like whenever I think of nerd, I think of Ned. Like that is him.
That is a good one.
That's a good one. And in the first one, he's got the Lego Death Star.
Yep.
You can't, if you're a true nerd, you can't be a true nerd if you don't have a bunch of Lego on display at your house. You know what I mean? That's the telling of a true nerd. If you don't have thousands of dollars worth of Lego, what are we talking about here?
You have thousands of dollars worth of Lego, Jack?
I have thousands of dollars worth of Lego behind me. You should see my attic.
So
I have thousands of dollars worth of camera shit.
Yeah, I have thousands of dollars worth of camera stuff at this point.
Yeah, but Cameron, you own a Blackmagic movie cinema camera.
So nice.
Really nice.
I own weird retro cameras that I never use.
Even if you take out the Blackmagic, I would still be over $2,000 with all my cameras.
$2,000 isn't much for a camera that doesn't buy you a single Sony body.
That's nothing.
It does.
I got tens of thousands worth of comics and Pokemon cards in the attic.
Thank you for this clarification, Mother.
Okay. When we juggle about nerd stuff, I went from age 12 to 16 or 17. Each summer, I went to giant LARPing festivals, like Fantasy LARP, with my brothers. And I bought clothes, like linen clothes and cloaks and whatever. And we made our own costumes. We made ballistas and trebuchets. Wall fortifications and stuff, because you had like camps based on the elements, and then you had weird actors like who played the bad guys, and you would buy the foam swords and whatever. I bought leather plate armor and stuff. I think I invested like a good $2,000 in that, and I didn't touch any of that stuff. And I think it's on my half brother's attic since I'm 17, so that's 10 years ago. And I also own like 2K in airsoft equipment, and I haven't used that since 20.
Yeah, that's a sentence that I never heard.
LARPing is S-tier nerd stuff. LARPing is S-tier
Seb
nerd
sometimes
stuff.
come out of left field with random things that he's done or that he owns, and it's like, what is life?
We need to have a separate post-pod talk about this.
Anthony, you need to come visit again, and then we'll have a chat over some beers over this.
We will.
Also,
gonna happen.
Anthony, I also have an electric longboard, a carbon fiber longboard in my basement. The only reason I don't use that is because since e-scooters have become a thing, the police knows about e-vehicles, and that thing goes up to 32 kilometers, belt-driven motors. And the thing is that even though you can slow down to 25, you don't get, in Germany, you need a like tiny insurance tag, and you need to have insurance for the thing. And no one insures longboard that's electric.
Can I get a kilometers to miles per hour?
one mile is 1.6.
I don't want to do the math myself. Do the 35.
Wait.
While Seb's doing that, let's answer this question from EDM. I would say yes about Hermione, and I'm not sure about 40-year-old virgin. Like, yes, Hermione Granger is a nerd, 100%.
Hermione's a big nerd.
But not Hermione. Hermione's like
I can't see the questions. Oh, here they are.
You can't.
Are the following considered nerds? Hermione Granger and Steve Carell.
Steve Carell is a great choice. That is a fantastic choice.
I feel like he's a nerd in whatever he does.
Yeah, that's but true. He's collecting
comic books.
Action figures, which is again that's S tier nerd level.
That's true.
Maybe A tier. It's like LARPing and then action figures.
Yeah.
And then like Legos along with action figures.
Yeah, Legos is up there, but it's as far as hierarchy goes, it's like Lego and then action figure and then LARPing.
There's also video games too, like old video games.
How about comic books?
Oh, well, comic books are up there. Comic books are up there. But it's a little
I wanted to say that
comic books 15 years ago and comic books today are different, you know? Because now, with the popularity of the MCU, it kind of made comics a mainstream thing, whereas back in the 90s, if you were reading comic books, not so much.
I wanted to say that in the beginning that Harry Potter and the Harry Potter franchise generally is a good movie nerds thing, because literally every movie is about another school year. How nerdy is that?
School, S-tier nerd stuff.
Yeah. But also coming back to your question, 32 kilometers is 19.8, so about 20 miles.
On a longboard, you're kind of cooking.
Yeah, it's kind of cooking.
I mean, it has ABS braking, so it's slightly slowing down. And I also feel like if you're standing on the longboard, jumping off and like saving yourself if you need to get off the board is much easier than like on a kick scooter that's like accelerating itself, because you have like your legs behind each other and you're putting yourself in a narrow position. Like if you need to get off that thing, getting off is much weirder than from a board, because if you know how to ride a board, you know how to get off that board.
Yeah.
Have you rode it? Like, have you?
I did ride it a lot, yeah. Mostly, like, I have it at my dad's most of the time, who lives in a rural area in the north of Germany, so no one cares around there. And actually, I got it from one of the guys. I forgot what the company is called. I think it's called Evolve. I think they're originally from Australia or something. They do that with like a carbon thing, and then also with like a wooden board, and then they have like a box underneath it where that stuff is in. And it's an old model. I think by now they also like do hub motors in the wheels, but back then they did it with like a belt drive stuff. And it's just funny because I got it basically for free from the guy who did the German distribution, and it's one of his old tests thingies. Like he had a lot of them basically, and it was kind of fun. But then I used it in Berlin like 3 or 4 times to go to school with it, and then never really touched it again, because like people would always look at it weird, and again like it doesn't do that well with curbs, and you can't really do it on a in the bike lane, because people would be like, yeah, why are you riding the longboard in the bike lane? Do that on the sidewalk. But 30 kilometers, 20 miles on the sidewalk, kind of not a thing.
No,
in America, we don't like people riding bikes or skateboards on the sidewalk. You take that to the street.
In Germany, we don't either usually.
You take that to the street. If someone's riding a skateboard on the sidewalk, I'm giving them one of these.
Yeah, but like if you're going slowly, just pushing along, that's cool. But if you're going high and you're aggressive.
Walking. Not
so if you're
for biking.
If you're pushing your bike, that means you're walking.
Get it on the road. Get it.
No, I mean like if you're just slowly pushing your skateboard.
Get it off the sidewalk. if you want to carry it, you can get on the sidewalk. If
No,
not,
but
take it to the
wait,
road.
no, but Jack, if you're walking, but you're pushing your bike next to you while you're walking, that's a sidewalk activity.
Yeah, you said.
I'll
then
allow
otherwise
it.
you're-
I don't love it, but I'll allow
But
it.
because then you're being a danger to the people that are on the bike lane. Because then the people in the
Well, why
bike
are you
lane are just
walking
gonna-
your bike anyway? Ride your bike like a normal person. What are we doing?
What if your bike is broken?
Well,
and you
fucking
need
lock
to
it up.
kind of-
Come back and get it with your car or something. I don't know. Get off the sidewalk. I don't want you on the sidewalk.
Well, Seb has been lost to the ether.
We lost him. We lost
He'll
him.
be back. He'll be back.
Any last words, my friends? Because my train leaves in 10 minutes. So
All right.
run
Last
again.
words. My final thoughts on the film were that if I had watched it in 2010 when it came out, and I was, a freshman in college, I probably would have liked it more. But as a 34-year-old, it just didn't resonate with me as much.
That's fair.
Anthony, did you talk about Slip by Pond yet
No,
at all?
go for it.
We are crowdfunding.
Hey, I'm back. Cool.
For those people that know, which most of you should, because I don't talk up about it. I'm crowdfunding for my next movie. Yay, come contribute. Yippee.
Been there,
we're
done
about-
that.
I know, Jack, you've been amazing. We're about $1,600 a.
Oh, he
I
froze.
got someone's gonna give us another extra 500.
Oh,
At least I'm back now. That's cool.
yeah,
That's the important thing.
But what I wanted to say earlier was like, if you have a skateboard and you basically go like walking speed, just pushing along, that's okay, because like it doesn't really matter. Because like also in Germany, you have to see you don't have separate bike lanes. They're like a tiny like six like this wide strip on the road next to cars, and they are meant to take 1.5 meters. 5 feet distance from you going around you, but they rarely do. So I feel like riding on the street is kind of scary if you're not on a bike,
Yes.
because people
Yes.
look at you like someone walking.
So yeah. Any last words? Anyone else? Because Seb, you missed this, but my train leaves in 10 minutes. I thought I had extra. I thought it was leaving at 30. I'm leaving at 4:15. So I'm going back home today.
Oh no! So
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's a moat.
But yeah, guys. I mean, first of all, Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, you'll join us again in the future. I hope you had fun today.
I did, in fact, have fun today. I told you next Sunday, unfortunately, I am doing yard work because April 6th is the perfect time, if you're in Zone 2 in America, to plant peppers, and we will be planting peppers.
Fun fact,
you
we
gotta-
haven't
Spicy
actually announced
peppers?
yet. Fun fact, we haven't actually announced yet about next week. So 'cause that's
Well,
a special episode.
Oh, how? Well, you don't tell me anything. I asked for information. You said we talk movies. I said, what time does it start? I said, any talking points? You said no. I said, all right, fine. I don't know what's going on.
No, we're just BSing for an hour. That's what we do.
I liked BSing for an hour. It was fantastic. I'll come
Perfect,
back.
right? Lovely. Well, thank you, Jack, for joining. Anthony,
Thank you
Seth,
for
you guys
having
are
me.
you guys are always amazing.
And Seth,
having-
it was a pleasure meeting y'all.
Pleasure meeting you too, Jack.
I'm Cameron.
Pleasure too.
I'm Anthony.
I'm
All right,
Seth.
fellas. Have a good one.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.